Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of this House, the mother of all parliaments, ladies and gentlemen. I received a letter from the Office of the Legal Affairs of the United Nations threatening me, trying to silence me, because what I'm saying does not fall in their ears. It's rather disturbing. But I replied to the Office of the Legal Affairs of the United Nations, OLA, that I will stand firm with the United Nations Charter. Maybe they could accuse me of breaching some rules of procedure, but I'm not breaching the rules. I'm not breaching the fundamentals of the United Nations. I'm standing for the fundamentals of the United Nations. Now, as a witness, for those who probably didn't hear me before, I was the chief of UNAMI Human Rights Office in Iraq. And I was also the advisor of the special representative of the Secretary General, SRSG Kobler. In that capacity, I was taking the lead on Ashraf file. And let me tell you, I'm not going to breach anymore the rules of confidentiality of the United Nations, since the documents are already in the public domain. This report that was published in the Sunday Telegraph of the UNHCR, that reads in part that from the technical point of view, UNHCR cannot certify and or verify that the location, meaning Camp Liberty, meets humanitarian standards according to many existing standard books. And it names UNHCR Handbook, the Sphere, the WHO, etc. This is a document that I'm witness. It was done by a person who was hired by your tax money. He was hired, he works in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, he was brought to Baghdad with your tax money. And he was supposed to assess the situation on the ground and certify, or otherwise, that Camp Liberty, whether Camp Liberty meets or doesn't meet the international standards. Now, we commissioned him in December. He arrived, he worked for 2 weeks. He visited with me Camp Liberty. And previously I had so many visits, and I already reported that Camp Liberty does not meet the international standards. First of all, the whole question put to the expert was a misleading question. It was whether Camp Liberty could be comparable to refugee camps in Ethiopia. This is absolutely out of order. It's a question of a population living in a highly organized city of Ashraf, being evicted and taken to a former military base that has been completely vandalized and looted. Now, I said to UNAMI leadership, this is unacceptable. Yet, to prove that I'm wrong, they brought the expert. The expert was brought in order to certify and nothing else. He was told from the day he arrived, you are here to certify. I went with him to Camp Liberty. He saw things. He reported. And he reported that he cannot certify. Kobler was outraged. He said to him, we want you to certify, and he refused. After the meeting, 4 o'clock, on 18th of December 2012, after the meeting in the SRSG's office, I moved with the expert shelter Martin Zeren from Switzerland. We moved to my office where he collapsed. He collapsed because of pressure. I had a nervous breakdown. And yet he did not certify. A week later, Kobler decided to certify. So you saw his press release on 31st of January 2012, where he said, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and the United Human Rights Office have now confirmed that the infrastructure and facilities at Camp Liberty are in accordance with international humanitarian standards stipulated in the MOU. This is very interesting reference to the MOU instead of the UNHCR handbooks. What is stipulated in the MOU? The clause 7 in the MOU said that Iraq will not recognize any outcome of the work of the UNHCR. So those who read carefully, who know also the background of those documents of Kobler, they will understand that it's once again, misleading the United Nations, misleading the international community. I'm really surprised that the United Nations is keeping quiet, despite my repeated alarms, my repeated warnings. I said that in the US Congress, I said it in this House, and yet nothing has been done to at least verify what I'm saying. At least an independent commission of inquiry looks at these two documents. This is the expert shelter document, and this is the UNAMI document. Let somebody look at them and hold whoever is misleading the international community accountable. I thank you very much.